There we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Rose Pill. It was originally called the Rose Record, but I kind of had trouble pronouncing the name a little bit, so I've changed it. Hi, welcoming on to the show. Not So Obvious is a guest on my last stream. How are you today?
Not too bad, not too bad.
And also the Scottisher tailed feature.
Is that sticking? Is that a new thing? Is it?
I mean, I'd take that as an insult, mate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then everyone just started running with it, and I'm kind of claiming ownership of it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I'm fine.
And last but not least, Count Dankula. How are you, sir?
Still not in jail.
We were talking earlier about hopefully the police don't come whilst you're on the stream here, although it would be breaking news for me.
Yeah. Marcus Meakin live from Scunthorpe holding cells.
Scunthorpe.
Right, so I was going to get another tranny in, but unfortunately I haven't been able to find one. So maybe one of you guys could be the token trans for the rest of the stream.
There you go, Mark.
Dank, you like to fuck traps. Why don't you be the trans girl tonight?
I am an extremely ugly woman.
So speaking of traps, one of the first things that I ever mentioned in my first video almost a year ago, and this is a topic that I've been saying time and time again, I was going to cover, but seeing as we've got Count Dankula here and also Tailed Feature, I thought, let's get this out there. So, are traps gay?
No.
What's that got to do with me?
I don't know. You were wearing a skirt the last time we met, so
yeah.
I'll shout at you like I shouted at that Cockney woman who said the same thing. I'm not wearing a fucking skirt.
Traps are gay. End of.
No, they are not. They are not.
They are. They're totally gay. You had sex with a man.
Why is the trap gay then?
People don't appreciate the way I make memes out of it as well. Like, see how the joke I made when I said, if you're a man and you're masturbating, if you're touching your dick, that makes you gay because you're touching a dick, right? It's because the whole thing is it doesn't really matter. You know, if you're having fun, then it really doesn't matter.
I love some of the justifications in chat. It's like traps are male, so they're the gay ones if they like men. But as they dress like women,
the point.
Is this us taking it next levels of deep? Then it's a case of the act of fucking a trap is not gay, but traps in and of themselves are gay. That's fucking meta.
Yeah, the meta trap theory right there.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Christopher Hitchens of traps, like fuck's sake, man.
Chat again is like, can women be trapped, or does their superior sense of smell kill it?
What?
It's like they could detect.
No, that's a true thing, by the way. Like humans give off fucking pheromones, and it actually influences people's behavior. That's completely true.
I know. I use it every day.
Yeah, you don't know. And that's the thing is they don't even know it. Like people try and put it into like, you know, aftershaves and perfumes and stuff like that. Like this is the thing is like, see why do you think so many fights happen in nightclubs?
You should, for your next sponsor, get a like some kind of perfume deal so you can have essence of trap. Ode to trap.
Is this going to be like trap for her?
Or him. It's unisex.
Or is it?
Is it for them?
You've got to get the right pronoun on there.
For them.
Trap for G.
I think that hormones do make you kind of. I'm sure they change the way that you smell. Like if you take an estrogen, for example, you don't smell the same way that a normal guy would smell. If that makes sense.
I mean, I don't go around emphatically smelling everyone I meet, so I can't say that it's obvious.
These are like subtle things. Like, I'm not expecting to like, you know, go up to someone and I actually start sniffing them. Like this would just be like, I don't know, like a general note, like if they weren't wearing any after like what do you call it, deodorant.
Traps are gay. Hashtag he for shim.
It's a completely true thing. Like humans release pheromones. Like see how, like I said earlier, this was something that we learned about in security. Lots of fights happen in nightclubs because there's lots of men on the prowl for booty in close proximity to women. So basically, natural instinct kicks in where it's like, I need to fight for the right to mate. Now it's a case of men are just fighting because they think, oh, I'm just fighting, that's what you do in bars. But like, no, it's this actual deep thing that's coded into us. Like, that's why they fight. No
So
joke.
it's the kind of because of the taps.
Sure. Like lessons of ex security guard or ex bar security, whatever it is.
That is absolutely insane. I had someone on the chat ask, like Dank, he asked me to ask you what your chin's persona is. I don't actually know what that means.
It's because of what we did to Shoe on Head last night when we did the "Is that a real mustache?"
Oh.
And it set her off a little bit, and she was even looking at her like replay on the webcam, like checking her top lip to see if she had a mustache. And I sent a super chat asking, "What is your top lips persona?" So.
Oh my god, I need to watch that stream now. I wasn't going to watch it just because I'm not that interested in her content, but for that, now I'll tune in.
I like Stu. She's lovely.
She's enjoyable.
Yeah, I do like her, although like I do wish she got a new camera. Although I suppose it's kind of part of her appeal is that it's like a really shitty camera. Yeah, like
we're all going to criticize her camera as we sit cameraless on a stream.
To be fair, like I'm using like a really old Mac, and the camera on it's terrible. Like, give it in a couple of months, I'm actually going to have a decent setup, and I will be on camera like all the time. I won't just have this awkward picture of myself.
Yeah, having a Mac should be classed as having a disability.
Like it is like this is kind of a shit computer, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, if you get my computer is so old, it's now worth more because it's a collector's item.
Juicy Blue Will in chat saying, "Do dogs have flawless trapdoors? Is that why they always sniff people?"
No, in Buddha's case, he'll walk up to literally any living thing and just kind of in his own way go, "Do you have food?" Yeah, that's literally it. Buddha doesn't care. He cares about his stomach.
I reckon dogs would be able to tell the difference, like between a trap and not a trap, though, because I've noticed dogs do have gender preferences.
Yeah,
like my old dog Flossie, she used to hate women. Like whenever a girl would like a woman would come into the house that she didn't know, she would just completely go sick at them. But she really liked guys, and she would just kind of be completely calm with them. Like, and this is people she didn't know.
Interesting.
And Gatsby is kind of similar. Like, he really likes guys. That's why we think he might be gay. But if a guy comes into the house, he will be all over them. But if a woman comes in that he's never seen, he kind of just like fucks off.
My dog always hated men with beards. So sorry, Dank.
Oh, that's a shame.
But going off from traps just a little bit, I was wondering if any of you might have been aware of a potential link between anime and traps, as in people wanting to transition just because they watch anime.
There's actually a lot of influence coming from that as well. Like, I think a lot of guys like see anime and go, "I want a girl like that," not realizing that this is a fucking cartoon and girls don't actually act like that
ever.
Yeah.
At all.
So, like, I've noticed that, and especially with a lot of the traps that I speak to, a lot of them are really into anime. They really are. Like, it's actually kind of common.
Like, how many traps do you speak to?
Couple dozen an hour.
A lot. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't even remember how the entire thing started. I think just on a stream once, I just said that I have a little bit of a penchant for traps, and then they all sort of
They come out the woodwork.
They came out the forests because that's where they live. In the forests.
No, they're called furists.
They sing to the birds and stuff like that.
Oh, very Snow White and the Seven Traps. Are you Snow White and the Seven Traps?
No, I'm creating this fucking token-esque like fucking thing with the traps. Like there's some ancient race that were here before.
The elvish traps were first as they sailed across the sea from lands unknown.
No, I talked to quite a few, but one thing that I have noticed as well, and this is kind of strange, right? A lot of the traps that I speak to are all into anime, and they are all sort of centre or right wing or libertarian and all that. Basically sensible. But then I've noticed that you get the other traps, the ones that don't like being called traps. The right wing ones, they like it.
They've embraced it.
Yeah, they've embraced their degeneracy.
Yeah, but then you get the other ones that are more left-leaning that don't like being called traps, and they're not into anime. So what I'm trying to say here is anime is a gateway to Nazism.
I knew it.
I've actually got this this article. It's on Medium, so I'm not sure entirely how credible this is. Let me just put this on screen share if I can remember the button to do that, which is this one.
Yeah, you have to tap present to everyone as well.
Yep, I am still new at this, so bear with me. Okay, so someone's written analysis of media-induced transgender identification, masculinity, anime, and gender dysphoria. So this is actually written more by someone who is gender critical.
This sounds like it's from someone who spends a lot of time in Dank server.
Well, this is someone who says they've spent 5+ years in the anime community of 4chan.
Infiltrating the 4chan anime community.
For 5 years and developed a very mild form of gender dysphoria and autogynephilia during the same time.
What on earth is autogynephilia?
So autogynephilia, it's weird. So effectively, it's someone who has a fetish of seeing themselves as a woman and having sex as a woman. So, like, their whole thing.
So it's the kind of person.
So is it a case of they don't they don't identify as a woman? They just get turned on by the idea of being fucked as a woman. Is that
generally? Yeah, but there are people out there who kind of conflate that with people like me saying we're effectively the same thing, which I massively disagree with. And this is kind of what this article is going into. So I don't know what the full politics of the person.
I think they missed a massive opportunity to call it Buffalo Billism.
I don't get it.
That completely went over everyone. No one's watched Silence of the Lambs. Never mind.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that's yes, the one who's.
Would you fuck me? That guy. Well, there goes the conversation. There we go. Then.
Is Rosie still there?
So someone.
Is she still...
What?
As I said, everyone's audio keeps cutting out, so no one's sure when to talk.
Yeah. Like, we could just go with the idea that I just completely killed the conversation. That's also entirely possible.
It was so bad it even killed the internet.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, the EU's trying to take us down already.
It's not bad internet on my side.
If the EU's already trying to take us down for answering the most dangerous question on the internet, so there we go.
Okay, so can everyone hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So going back onto this, so they first started talking about like masculinity and the patriarchy and going into that kind of topic. But where it gets really interesting is cute girls doing cute things, and then talks about examples of anime. I've never heard of any of these, but effectively what the author is saying is guys who are growing up who are potentially more feminine, and then they are being, you know, picked on for being feminine, and they don't, you know, they're kind of repressing their, you know, not being very masculine. They watch anime and see like ultra feminine girls, and so they decide they start to identify with the girls and then want to become the girls. And what's more, this is actually shared by a guy called Ray Blanchard, who is like one of the leading studiers of like, so he's basically given his, you know, his stamp of approval. There is a link between anime and people becoming traps.
I don't think 2 nukes were enough.
All right, I went very dark very quickly. Thank you for that.
It's fine. My brain's just working quicker. I got there before you guys did.
What you're trying to say then is anime is Japan's way of destroying the West in vengeance for the nukes.
It wasn't as South Park told us. No. Oh god.
So yeah, that was something which I just kind of thought was pretty strange. But I wanted to also talk to Dank in particular about
fuck Graham Linehan, fuck her.
about a friend of yours. So this guy Anthony Watson the other day tweeted out saying that Graham Linehan has threatened to sue me for calling him a bigot. It is a view many would agree with. I'm going to do a poll. If I lose, I will retract my tweets and apologise. Is Graham Linehan a bigot for his transphobic views? I voted. I don't think he's a bigot, and that's something that I stand with. Just to kind of, I don't have a problem with Graham for his views on trans people. I have a problem with him for his views on free speech. I have a big problem with him about that.
He can have. Once it's when he starts sort of denying certain things to people, like, say for example, if someone, like, this is the thing where I've got a problem with, like, see if someone wants to personally turn around and go, I now identify as such and such a gender, they absolutely have the freedom to do that, right? See if he turns around and says, I don't recognize you as that, that's fine, he can do that if he wants. The only problem is he is kind of courting a large group of people who seem to want to restrict a person's freedom to do that, and that's where I don't know if he knowingly agrees with that. I've not seen him agree with that, but that's where my issue is. I also have an issue with the fact that his face is fucking lopsided, and I hate the cunt.
Do you remember that picture I did of him where I basically just like flipped his face the other way around? It looks even worse somehow.
I hate him. I just hate him. He's so fucking stupid. He's just so fucking stupid, man. Like, he's made jokes similar to mine in the past, and he's like, oh, I totally support Count Dankula getting arrested and going to jail, and then it's like, you've literally done the exact same kind of jokes as me. And he's like, oh, people should be punished for the things that they say. And then fucking Stephanie Hayden got the cops to his door, and he's all like, oh, my free speech. And
do you think?
You care now. You care now.
Do you think he's actually really masochistic and he's desperate to be bent over the coal somewhere?
Yeah, I reckon he wants the gulag. He wants the gulag.
He wants to be on the breaking wheel, Dank. That's what it is.
Get Franz Schmidt on this guy. Nah,
So,
but I just think he just dishes out woke takes. Like, he just dishes out woke takes. I don't think he's dangerous.
It's like a less successful J.K. Rowling.
You have him doing things like this. So when this guy said, like, oh, you know, started this poll, he then asks all of his followers to report a tweet for harassment where someone has asked, do you agree whether I've called him a bigot?
No.
So he seemed like that is encouraging.
Double standards abound.
That is encouraging people to, like, again, I have no issue with his views on trans people. I get, Dank, I get where you are coming from. I don't think he is I don't think he is a bigot at all. And like, I have actually spoke to him in the past I don't speak to him anymore because I appeared in a video with Sargon a couple of months ago. Yeah, that's a true story. I actually extended an invite to interview him because I wanted to be able to say, like, look, this is what his views are, and the reason he gave as to why he didn't want to be associated with me is I appeared in one of Sargon's videos, which I was quite surprised he even knew about.
That tells me that he's actually he's got Sargon derangement syndrome and he's watching every video that he can.
Well, that's
it's a ridiculously obscure appearance as well.
He also, like, see, when I done the BBC documentary, he got invited to be a part of it, and he was all up for it at first until he found out what the documentary was about and that he was going to have to debate me, and he immediately backed out.
Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah, and I would have just reamed him the entire time. I would have ripped him for free speech, and I would have just flat out sat across to him going, "So why do you want to gas trannies, Graham?" I would have just fucking reamed him the entire time, man, because fuck him, he's a fucking idiot.
I think we may have found
supposed to be an idiot.
We may have found Dank's trigger point here.
Oh, I didn't mean to upset you. But I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of get your take on him. Because I know he's phobe as well in the past for some reason.
He's done malicious shit. Like, see, when I got my GoFundMe up and running for my legal fees, he was complaining directly to GoFundMe to get it shut down. Yeah, which was fucked up. That was a really fucked up thing that he did. But like, the thing that I think's fucking hilarious is like the tweet you just showed, where he essentially said, "This account is harassing me, so can you all go harass this account?"
Yeah, and so and this is what I just want to make it clear. Like, this is what my big problem with him is these double standards. And I know that the kind of gender critical crowd are like openly embracing him because he is a big name, and you know he's one of their big supporters. But I think he's not particularly reasonable when it comes to like his own actions. Like, I believe when he got talked to by the police after the whole Stephanie Hayden thing, I think it was under like the Malicious Communications Act or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it was a similar thing to what you got done by. And his response to it was, well, obviously it didn't work properly when I was caught by it. But when Marcus Meacham was caught by it, that was it working properly. So he's basically saying it's fine when I do it, but not with other people.
I've never heard him do that before. That seems like a very ungenerous mischaracterization.
He is very, certain rules for me, but not for thee. That's literally what he's like. He's a massive hypocrite. He's a huge hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dank, who would you rather have had that debate with, Glinner or Smurthwaite?
Oh, don't make me choose.
Who's Smurthwaite?
Kate Smurthwaite. Have you ever seen that clip of the guy on the news going,
"Oh, yes.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but there'll always be something to upset a feminist." And she, in trying to reply to that point, got very, very upset and angry.
So she says, like, you must give me the right to respond or I'll never appear on Sky News again.
Oh my god.
Let me see if I can find that clip now. Let me see if I can actually...
Just look up a picture of her nose.
Aye, I would have been with her, but I'll admit, like, Tailed was there for the debate that we actually did manage to have, which was, it was lovely, wasn't it, man?
Oh man, yeah, and I enjoyed calling him a fucking idiot to his face without realizing it.
I know you. In fact, did we tell you about this, Rose?
What was this?
We did a debate with a left-wing comedian for the documentary, and it got really fucking heated. It got really fucking heated, right? And what ended up happening was me and Tailed walked outside, and we're walking away because we're leaving, and we're like, Tailed turned around to me going, "Honestly, I just wanted to shake him the entire time, going, 'You are a fucking idiot.' Honestly, he was so stupid." And we turned around and he was sitting right there. Like, so we just sort of went, "Oh shit," and just walked away.
No, you're like, he's like sitting right there, and I just looked at him and went, "Oh well, I don't give a fuck."
You're so much sassier in real life, Tailed. That's all I can say. Oh.
Yeah. Well, so that was. I did want to touch on the whole Graham Linehan thing because I felt that, you know, it's a kind of a good opportunity to just kind of put out what my views on that are, and like, because I know that I have a lot of like gender critical followers who do like very much follow what Graham Linehan said, but I'd really just kind of wanted to highlight,
Yeah, sure.
just what his own attitude is.
Jump
But
in.
I also just wanted to touch on like a couple of other stories which I've seen.
Sure,
Because I'm trying to branch away just from doing like tranny stuff. I want to kind of cover a bit more of like the whole LGBT insanity.
Sure. Like just before we jump to that though, like I'm curious, going back to the anime causes traps thing, how much anime Marcus has actually watched?
I watch gratuitous amounts of anime, yes.
Do you have any favorites you want to share with us?
Depends what genre we're going for. Like, I really like Attack on Titan. I like One Punch Man. I'd probably say the best written one I've ever seen is Death Note. I like niche ones like Serial Experiments Lane. That's a cracker. But I really liked Psychopaths as well. You've got right. I'm going to be quiet now because I'll talk for hours.
No, I only watched like the first 2 episodes of Psychopaths. I couldn't really get into it, but it's done by the same guy who did Madoka Magica.
I've not seen that one.
That's really good because like you think it's going to be almost like this Sailor Moon magical girls kind of thing, and then it just turns really, really dark, really, really fast. Like surprisingly, I've not watched that much anime. Like there's only about 4 or 5 shows that I think I've ever really watched.
The only thing that pisses me off about anime is that they use all the same voice actors and they have so many tropes that get on my nerves all the time.
Oh, you would like One Punch Man then, because
I really enjoyed One Punch Man.
Because it takes the piss out of all the tropes.
I really enjoyed that. But like occasionally I've enjoyed like the odd series. So I did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I did Blue Exorcist. And what was the one recently? Like there's this really weird like Gundam style one on Netflix that was a Netflix original that was really enjoyable, but I couldn't get into Death Note. I read Death Note, I think.
Fucking weebs.
This has just turned into a weeb stream.
The main thing that I don't get with Glenor, right?
Here we go.
Is he's commenting on stuff. And he's kind of seen as like, this is the person who speaks about this subject. How the fuck would he know? Why would he, like, would anybody listen to me if I go, this is what it's like to have gender dysphoria? Like,
You're basically saying Glenor doesn't have lived experience.
No, fuck him.
I'll admit, it's a very strange debate to get into if you're not even bothered about the free speech angle, because I think it's a big part of it that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to how people can even discuss various things. And look at people like myself. In fact, there was a trans woman who was banned from Twitter the other day permanently, although they eventually revoked it, for saying that trans women are biologically male. Like,
oh yeah, wasn't it a trans person themselves?
Sorry?
Wasn't it a trans person themselves?
Yes. Yeah, so she tweeted that as a part of like a response to a big comment chain, and then someone reported her. She then got banned. She like appealed it, and then Twitter said like, nope, there's no chance it's permanent. Eventually, I think it got picked up on by some quite big Twitter users, and eventually Twitter kind of came to their senses. But there's a big part of this, and it's one of the reasons why I talk about it so much, is that you're having people, even within the trans community, so to speak, controlling what it is that you can say. And if they're controlling what I could say about myself, then the chances are other people being able to control about what they can say about me for them, that's going to be even worse. But I have a actual tie-in with this whole fight. Graham Linehan doesn't really, because he doesn't care about free speech. It's not really clear why he's kind of decided to jump onto this as hard as he has. If it was going to be the odd comment every now and then, I would kind of I can see why people would comment on it, but his Twitter is mostly just trans stuff now.
Yeah,
I think he's fighting. He's probably fighting to stay relevant a little bit himself. He's probably enjoying a little bit the attention he gets from it. Because he hasn't really been relevant for about 15 years.
I think the lady doth protest too much. I think
the biggest problem is he doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's see, for example, Rose and Obvious. What if I started talking about what it's like to be English?
I'd tell you to go fuck yourself, mate.
Well, I'm Welsh, so I don't care.
Oh, Celtic. That's fine.
I will be one of the first to burn in the new revolution.
Yeah. Celtic master race, boys. Here we go. I'm bringing headhunting back.
Of course. Well, have you seen the film Apocalypse? When they they wall off Scotland. Or Extinction, I think it was called. I can't remember.
Oh no, I know the one you're talking about. Was it?
Yeah. When they got crazy Scottish biker gangs roasting people alive in football stadiums.
It was I actually went to the cinema to see that years ago, right? And see when they go in, because they're we've seen survivors and satellite footage. It means that there's people who are immune to the virus. We need to bring one back here. So
yeah.
An antidote, right? And they drive in, and eventually they come under attack. They're getting bricks thrown at them, Molotovs, and people are running out and trying to stab them and shit. And I in the middle of the cinema, said, "It's good to know that Glasgow hasn't changed." And everyone in the cinema started laughing, and I was so proud of myself.
And today on Things That Didn't Happen. It was a good film. I mean, it was completely ridiculous, but then anything with Kate Beckinsale in is going to be absolutely insane.
No, I can't even remember the last thing that she was in.
I don't know. Probably the last Underworld film.
Oh yeah,
20 sequels.
It's a good. The first 3 films are really good, so I don't mind.
Aren't they all kind of prequels to themselves, though?
No. There's only one that's prequel.
Oh, I never really paid much attention to it. I just saw it looked like one of those kind of emo films.
I mean, it's an enjoyable, mindless violence kind of film. Well, apart from the first one. The first one's quite well written.
Apparently,
people are going, it's Rona Mitra, not Beckinsale. My bad. Doomsday. It's a goth swank fest.
That is, yeah. I can't even. I've only watched bits of the first one. It just looked very weird.
It is weird. I'll give you that.
Just looked shit from what I remember.
Moving on from one of my favorite film franchises. Moving on.
So you don't want to turn this into a stream of going on about Underworld.
Well, I don't think any of us would be able to join in that conversation. It would just be obvious. Well, not so obvious.
Going back
I ain't saying anything, mate. I ain't saying anything.
Well, going back to what I was going to talk about earlier. This is just a story that popped up kind of randomly on my Facebook feed, and so I'm just wondering what you guys would give your opinion on this. So let's just, your dad got you when you were a baby, and are any of you circumcised?
No.
Okay, so how would you feel if your dad got you circumcised?
And now odd facts about panelists.
I'd be pissed off.
So this guy, I don't know exactly who Andy Cohen is, but Gaystar News ran a story saying that this guy loves his penis so much that he got his son's circumcised.
Who calls their dick gorgeous? Dicks are not fucking gorgeous.
It's like the last chicken in the shop look. Not like.
I got that Red Dwarf reference.
But that's not the weird part of the headline. Like, it is. That is weird. But it's when he says, I have a gorgeous circumcised penis, and I want him to have the same.
Obviously, it's a purely cosmetic choice, isn't it? There's nothing about genital mutilation.
Yeah,
that's gorgeous.
Like when the if the person's older and they decide to do that, then yeah, whatever, go ahead and you fucking do that. But that's just that's fucked.
Like, baby. And what I find strange is, like, it's quite a long piece. They start off just by saying
he's still talking about the article, yeah. It's a long piece.
Grabbing the low-hanging fruit there, Tails.
Well, someone's got to.
So he admitted circumcising his son, and that was an easy choice because his own gorgeous penis inspired him.
It inspired. Can you imagine walking to work and going, I have an inspirational penis. Your penis is nothing like my inspiration. My muse, my flame.
My dick and my muse.
So he's just saying he is circumcised. I have a gorgeous circumcised penis, and I want him to have the same. And then they never mention it again. Like, just for the rest of it, they talk about how how him and his partner have sex for some reason.
Harry
to include in an article about a baby.
Yes. So talking about a baby.
How we made the baby.
It's like
those of you who don't know.
The making of. And the Harry channel in chat is just pointing out, cue the I Love Willy's song from Linehan's IT crowd.
It's just the whole way that this is kind of phrased. Like, this is clearly the thing which is driving people to share this, and then they just don't comment on it again. And it's like, no, that's fine. And there's no one saying, is that a bit weird? Like, even if you come down to the comments.
Do you know what I find a bit weird? Like, the sheer number of ads on this page.
Oh god, like this. Yeah, this is. Well, so I actually used to write for Gay Star News a couple of years ago. And like advertising then, like, it was nowhere near what it is now.
Empowering the LGBTI world 24/7.
One skin care ad at a time.
Well, that baby's not going to need quite as much skincare products anymore.
Oh dear.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. You're gonna save some money on skincare products you wouldn't use as much.
What's quite funny is they're part of, like, the People's Vote. Like, they advertise a lot for them. They organized a Gay People's Vote campaign, and it was held in a bar in Soho, and there was loads of free drinks. And so, like, this is in London. This is like Remainer Central, a bar with free drinks. You just need to come along and just support a second referendum. And like 10 people turned up.
Strong.
So
that's what you get.
But now Jeremy Corbyn has announced that he's supported.
That is true. So like, I'm not sure whether they're going to come out all more into it or not. I mean, it's
come out.
Brexit.
That'd be.
Someone can't do that anymore.
So yeah, so if you have a look at the comments down here, like there's one person who's is actually talking about like how it's such an awful thing to do to like a baby, which I completely agree with. I think it is genital mutilation. Like, obviously it's not comparable to female genital mutilation, where that's actually properly damaging like the reproductive organs.
I don't think it's really a competition, though, is it?
It's not a competition, no. But still, it's it is. I think it is a form of mutilation. A baby can't consent to it, and like what this might sound a bit weird, but like if let's say someone is a trans woman and they were going to have the surgery down there, that kind of skin is really essential to it. And if you don't have that skin, they need to do other ways of making the vagina, and then that can be very, very dangerous. So there is a very, 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 very small chance that you're denying a trans woman her surgery, and it does happen. So I think Blair White was circumcised, so she's not having the bottom surgery for that reason. So it's something that does actually happen, but like no one's actually kind of pointing out what a weird thing it is just to kind of say, like, I have a gorgeous penis and I want my gorgeous penis as well. Like, who really cares about what their son's genitals look like?
He's one of these men which feminists definitely do not describe as having BDE.
What does that mean?
That's like big dick energy. Which is something which apparently
dick envy. I thought you were going to say
no big dick energy, which is something which apparently Rihanna has, but most men do not. So there you go. That's their concept. That was a few months back. I'll forgive you for not knowing that one.
Keep it topical.
Yeah.
So moving on from Gay Star News, just wanted to kind of point out another story. I was hoping that I was hoping Traname Girl would be on here for this.
Oh my god! Just like how much AdSense do you need?
Oh, this site is actually worse than Gay Star News for adverts. Like, I kept on reading the article. There's a big advert for the.
You are roboting
the article itself doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So this is a non-binary person explaining how to come out as non-binary.
I mean, generally you just dress androgynous, shave all your hair off, and then don't care.
In general, that's what I do. But we've got some really good advice here, just by saying, like, you don't have to say I'm non-binary. You just simply say I am, and I don't identify as male or female. I don't identify as anything except for myself, because that's really not a pretentious thing to say.
I'm sorry, but your chromosomes tell me a different story, love. Also, or a man. True.
And then when they're commenting on coming out to friends and family, they say, especially when it comes to the parents, they were born with brainwashed ideas of what it means to be a parent.
And now they're struggling with the brainwashed idea that they've failed as one.
I mean, you could easily make the argument that a lot of like the non-binary community are brainwashing themselves into coming out as non-binary, but then they have to push it onto the parents.
This is the thing about like the multitude of genders, right? Is I just go, here is a spectrum from masculine to feminine. It's a bimodal distribution. Some people fall outside the curve, but most people coalesce at either end of the spectrum. And I don't believe that if you happen to be, if the scale would be, I don't know, 0 to 10 or something, 7.62597932, that you deserve to have your own pronouns, your own name, and everything else, particularly when the signifiers for your gender happen to be a dress code. And so it's basically like saying goth is a gender. No, you just happen to dress androgynously. Get over yourself.
You do an excellent impersonation of 3PO.
Of 3PO?
Yeah. 3PO.
Oh my god.
No, I think you're right there. Like,
you've discovered my weekend job, Mark, as a 3PO impersonator. As I go around kicking R2-D2s around London. Sorry, go on, Rose.
Sorry. No, so did you see the the charts put up by mermaids in the training session with the police a couple of weeks ago in Liverpool, where they had this chart where on one side it had a Barbie doll and the other side it had like an action man, and it was effectively saying like, which gender are you? So one side is woman, one side is man, and everything else kind of in the middle is like its own little gender.
Bullshit.
What if you could go further than men and become a Superman?
Well, we have Wormkin, so why not? You could call this Superman something cool, something like I don't know, Ubermensch or something like that.
I have 5 dicks and my beard has a beard.
And if you don't believe me, you're a bigot.
So what would like so if you'd considering man to have pronouns like he and him, what would the manliest pronouns be?
Well, only the deep questions on the Rose Bill. Deep philosophical. Maybe chat can elucidate us because they always come up with some good stuff.
I think my lord.
My lord, your majesty.
I'm kind of moving away from daddy a little bit. I'm starting to like my lord a little bit more.
I quite like he-man and he-him.
Nutty in my butty, my lord.
Oh dear.
Chad.
Chad.
It's just Chad. My pronouns are Chad and Chad. Oh dear. Or he, sir, and him, sir. It's just, oh god. And then of course there's all the Nazi references.
Yeah, der Kaiser, Herr Dank. Gay man.
Gay man, yeah, that's totally the manliest pronoun you're gonna get.
Look, don't bash the gays, right, man? Like you have to remember
that would make you gay.
you have to. It's like, what was it? I can't remember who it was who did the sketch. It's like talking about whether or not gay men are manly, and it's like a gay man wants to be fucked by a man. There's nothing more hardcore than that. Oh, you and your pussy loving mates. I want to get fucked in the ass.
Oh yeah, who was it? That was a stand-up comedian, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Rod Gilbert, I think maybe. No, it wasn't.
No,
I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like a Rod Gilbert kind of sketch.
No.
I always. Is it
Wasn't
Kevin
Jim
Bridges?
Jeffries,
Kevin
no,
Bridges.
I don't think they were even British.
I have no idea. Then maybe someone in chat knows. Who knows?
I'm not sure whether anyone does.
And demonetized. I think we got demonetized from the.
Probably get demonetized just for the like people mentioning like Dankula.
Have you not managed to get super chat yet, Rose?
I've not. I've never had a super chat before.
Have you enabled it in your settings?
You should have. It should be automatic, shouldn't it?
No, it's not. You have to pick it on.
No, there's no option to do it, so you haven't turned it on.
Oh.
It was Steve Hughes. Yeah, somebody in the chat just said it was Steve Hughes.
Oh, Steve Hughes. Yeah. He's so good. He's a good one. Steve Shives, obviously.
I was actually kind of hoping that this would be like my first ever like super chat, because so far from my whole channel, I've made, I believe it's like $5 now.
Hey, that's the same amount as Dank's made.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I'm not the lowest earning YouTuber in the call.
You're making more than me, yeah, because I make literally nothing.
What about on the second Dankula channel though?
Electric Boogaloo.
I make some on there. I make some on there now.
Because that gets decent views as well. So I'm imagining that would at least, like, my goal is always to be able to earn a pizza. Like, if I could get a pizza a month just from doing YouTube, then I think I'll have made it. But
that's wholesome.
It's like such lofty goals, Rose. Such lofty goals.
Yeah,
wage gap debunked. I love that.
Yeah, and you wonder why there's a wage gap. Having said that, Rose probably earns more than all of us combined in our actual job.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I don't even know what you do for an actual job, but I won't ask you on stream.
Not on stream. I think I have told you in person, but
probably.
Like,
I was probably really drunk at the time. So
Boris Johnson's personal secretary.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No, did you hear about what happened to Boris Johnson?
No.
Yeah, when he phoned.
The fucking Armenian Prime Minister. Boris Johnson thought he was talking to the Armenian Prime Minister and stayed on the phone with him for like half an hour, and it was a fucking prank call.
When did this happen?
That was just the other day.
That's phenomenal.
A video to put on the third channel. In fact, I'll do that later. But fuck me, that's fucking funny.
You'll have absolute mad lads. Boris Johnson's prank caller.
Absolute mad lads, Bojo.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think I found it. Oh, that's the actual thing. These are damn videos. Here we go. Boris Johnson targeted by Russian prank caller.
Russian as well.
Well, they're always Russians nowadays. Like whenever there's any kind of prank, anything goes wrong, it's always the Russians. So Boris Johnson has been targeted by a Russian prank caller pretending to be the new Prime Minister of Armenia. He congratulates the caller on his election and goes on to discuss UK-Russia relations, the Salisbury poisoning in Syria. He expresses surprise and interest when the caller claims President Putin is influencing Jeremy Corbyn. The UK government believes the Kremlin was behind the call. Of course it was.
I really hope the audio comes out for that. That'd be amazing.
Oh, it has.
Oh, it has?
Yes, there are. Yes, it has. I wonder if this...
No, it won't. It won't through unless you can unplug headphones or something and play it through a microphone.
Oh, is that how you do it? So. Oh, that's a shame. Well, there is apparently the call itself is like 18 minutes long. It's on YouTube and it's posted on there by pro-Kremlin British journalist Graham Phillips.
Strong.
And it's credited to two prominent Russian political pranksters who are in favor of the official Russian media. So maybe it was.
All Kremlin funded, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
There we go.
That is absolutely incredible. Like, it actually does it does actually look like it could be the Russians actually pulling it over Boris. That's amazing. And now I've got Gatsby screaming at me for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Is it coming through the headphones?
A little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, that's fine. He's moaning about something. He does this quite often. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still going. So yeah, I think this is a good point to kind of wrap things up, just because I'm still recovering from like my facial surgery and it's been particularly sore today. I'm actually going to do a follow-up video on my facial feminization surgery. I've got 2 up on there already. If people have got questions, I'm not sure whether there's even any trans people watching this, but if there is and you've got any questions for how this kind of thing goes on, then get in touch. I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, I think there might have been some connection problems for the call, so hopefully everything's come out on the other side okay. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and also want to thank all my guests on the channel. So Count Dankula, Not So Obvious, and Tailored Feature, thank you all for joining.
No problem.
My Gavdrag.
And
that's incredibly rude. Never say that again.
Bulgarian for Not So Obvious is gay.
Obviously.
Okay, so thanks everyone, and I will see you all next time.